welcome to my channel, welcome to today's video. I'll be going through the books I've read this summer so far. Alrighty. I stopped reading for a little bit. I was such a big reader when I was a kid. I don't know why I stopped. I guess school got busier, went to uni, was reading so many things in classes and everything that I probably almost lost the enjoyment from it. But then I remembered my favorite books that honestly still up there as my favorite books. She's definitely my favorite author, Cassandra Clare. They are the Shadowhunters books. And I realized I'd read all of the series except for the original. I'd read The City of Bones when they first came out of the Mortal Instruments. But so I hopped online and I got the box set of the Mortal Instruments. So far, I've just started the third book, City of Glass, and am making my way through those. For anyone that doesn't know what the Shadowhunters books are about, they're fantasy, young adult fiction. They have some romance, a bit of humour, a bit of everything, but they're about demonic life, vampires, angels, werewolves, fairies, and the Shadowhunters are like half angel, half human warriors that help protect the humans from those with some demon blood in them. Really amazing books. It's a really vivid world. I'm so invested in all of the characters, so I would 100% recommend those. I am obsessed with them. I kept getting recommended by friends to read Shadow and Bone or Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I don't know how to pronounce it. I purchased the Six of Crows series. I watched Shadow and Bone when it came out on Netflix. I haven't read those books yet, but I've read these and I really enjoyed them. They're again in that kind of fantasy realm, bit of romance. I really love the characters and the imagery in these books. I think everyone should definitely give them a try, especially if you like fantasy fiction. I'd also see Ninth House be recommended on lots of different book channels, BookTok. It's about like secret societies. It's kind of a dark academia. Still got a bit of fantasy in it. It's got some magic. It had a hella plot twist that I was not expecting, but I really loved this book. It's dark. It's definitely darker than some of the other fantasy ones I read. On the front it says impossible to put down. And it was that. I think I read this in like 2 days. The next book I read, again fantasy, common theme going on here, but it's from the Guillemot-Mene series by Naomi Novik. It's called The Last Graduate. I read the first book in the series a few months ago, A Deadly Education. The second book only recently came out, so I got that and read that this summer. Again, dark academia, fantasy kind of themes running through it. I found the writing style quite different, and it took me in the first book probably almost halfway through to feel really invested, but by the time the book finished I needed the new one to come out. I don't want to give too much away. It's like Hunger Games meets Harry Potter. It's like a dark Harry Potter, so it's like the Scholomance is where all the wizards are sent to when they're young to learn how to battle. The school is alive. Demon creatures are a part of the school. Deadly Education is the first book. The Last Graduate is the second book, which I read this summer. The cliffhanger at the end of this book is, I don't even want to talk about it, but I'm really excited for the third book to come out. And Naomi Novik just did the like official release that the third one is coming out. The cover's on Instagram if you want to find it. Are 2 really good books. Now if you're anywhere on BookTube, BookTok, Book, Instagram, you probably would have heard about, seen, or already read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I've actually had it for a while. I did a massive book haul, purchased heaps of BookTok books, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, Song of Achilles. I bought them all at once and just didn't have the chance to get around to reading it until this summer, but I loved it. I love books that jump between present day and the past, so it's following a reporter. She's been invited by Evelyn Hugo, who's this glamorous, mysterious old Hollywood star, to interview, talk with her, and she never talks with anyone. But so it's jumping between following the reporter with Evelyn Hugo, and then as she's learning Evelyn's story, it's like the chapters kind of flick back to as if we're there with Evelyn back in the 50s and 60s. Lovely big plot twist. I knew something was gonna happen, but I couldn't tell you what it was. I was not ready for what it was. This book is definitely not overrated. I would 100% read it if you have not already. It's kind of got a little bit of everything in it. It's got the friendship, it's got the romance, well, it's the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo, so there's definitely romance. It's fun, light to read in some parts, but it has a lot of depth in it. And the final book I read, I didn't give it a proper job. So the book is Jojo Moyes' The Last Letter from Your Lover. The reason I say that I didn't give it a proper chance is because I just watched the movie when it came out on Netflix, I think it came out on, before reading it, and I didn't know that I was going to buy the book and read it. The story was still too fresh in my head from watching it to be able to fully invest myself in the book. It is a beautiful book. It's a beautiful storyline. Again, similarly to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, it's jumping between the two time frames, the present and going back through the history. Is 1960, Jennifer Sterling lives a life of luxury with her wealthy husband. On paper, she has it all. In reality, she's dangerously devoted to another man who is asking her to risk everything. 2003, Ali Hayworth works as a journalist for a national newspaper and is in love with a charming writer. On paper, she should be happy. In reality, her career is foundering and the man who holds her heart belongs to someone else. When Ali stumbles upon a set of passionate love letters from the 1960s, both women's lives entwine. And as she pieces together the fragments of the past romance, what she unearths dramatically transforms her life and Jennifer's in the process. It is good. It's beautiful. It's a really lovely book. I'm just so annoyed at myself for watching the movie first. So that is the books I've read so far this summer. Oh, I'll also show you. So I went to this book barn. It's just a barn of secondhand books. Really cool. I really liked it. I'm gonna have to go back. It's like an hour drive from where I live, so not too far away. Got a few other books while I was there. So the collection of other books I have to read. Thank you. Thank you. Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre. A classic. I just have never read it and thought it would be a good book to read. One of the other books I got is by Vina Cork. It's called The Art of Dying. I kind of saw it, picked it up. It's like a psychological thriller, which I thought would be really interesting to read. My mum has always really liked Philippa Gregory as an author, so I found this one, Queen's Full. It's set in the time of like Mary Tudor, Elizabeth I, King Henry. I really like historical novels. I don't read them too much. I really like the imagery and escapism. So that's in my to-read list. Finally, I have The Brightest Star in the Sky by Marianne Keyes. An address, 4 flats, a house full of hearts, and the extraordinary visitor about to change their lives forever. 66 Star Street. It's Marianne. It's magic. Some things are meant to be. Again, I don't know that much about this book. I'm excited to read it. I've heard really great things about Marianne Keyes as an author. Oh, and I am currently reading the first of the Shades of Magic series, I think that's what it's called, by V.E. Schwab, who also wrote The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I already know I like V.E. Schwab as an author, so I'm excited to get into this. I'm only like 3 chapters in. This is the first book called A Darker Shade of Magic. It's about different dimensions and there are only certain magicians that can travel between all of them. They serve the royal court of that, so it's the different Londons. There's Grey London, Red London and White London, and once there was a Black London, but I don't know anything about Black London yet. So I'm reading that currently. I am really enjoying it, but I am only a couple of chapters in. That is the updated reading I have done so far this summer, what I've got to read and what I am currently reading. Check back in. I will try and do book updates. I'm probably going to vlog moving into my new flat because I'm really excited about it and I want to share it with everyone so they can be forced to enjoy it with me. See you next time.